This is Justin AMZN for Wednesday, March 24th, 2021. I've got both Tuesday and Wednesday up on the chart, and you really need to look at these together to see really how things set up really well for this kind of a rollover. So talked about yesterday, kind of a triple top here, and really once we broke the 21, there were some opportunities to get in bearish, and that's what really you needed to wait for today. I was talking about getting in here, getting into like something 5x4 with the 30-50 put, and you had that same opportunity to come back in right through here after the 21 was broken. There were some really good retests prior to that. So this low from the kind of the first dip in this triple bottom, that price came in at open, and that price came in with this retest here. But those really didn't amount to too much. I mean, the one at open kind of did, like you really could have been buying 5x4, but that would have been having the order open and ready to go and getting in 5, stop at 4, and a target at 8, and that would have worked. This one later would not. It didn't even get up to even like 7 here. But the best one would have been waiting for this to throw an inverted hammer way up right into this area, almost up to this price, but really retesting this same area here. Let me zoom in on this. So I'm just going to hold the cursor here, but where this price retested, I mean, we retested right into that same price range. So the high in this candle is 31 59.86, and the high in this candle was 31.60.31. So just less than $1 higher. 86, right? Did I say that right? 86. Yep. So less than $1 higher. And less than 50 cents higher, right? Yeah, so barely pushed above, this wick, definitely retesting into this price, almost back up into here. And, this is what I was saying. We didn't quite get back up to this line. We were into the 5, rolled over. Well, we were higher. Obviously, we had more time go by from this point in time to here. And so once we got into this price, you got the hammer, inverted hammer, it starts to break down. Looks like we might bounce off the 21. Nope, we don't. And then the next candle is breaking down. You still had opportunities after that breakdown. So even though like 20 minutes has gone by, this candle here, you could have had an entry set up to get in at 5 and a stop at 4, and it would have filled anywhere in this candle, not, well, maybe this candle, low was 5, not this one, not this one. This one would have filled. A number of these candles came down into the $5 price range, and then it went sideways. Even though the puts, even though the stock was kind of trending lower, holding below the 5, it just didn't have that momentum push yet. Not until it started to break some lows and really got going and put a new low on the day. Actually, with this candle or this candle, new low on the day, and that's when it really pushed up. And so, just with the normal trade, and here it is on Wednesday, get in at 5, stop at 4, target at 8 for 3R, and it would have worked great. And then you had kind of a pullback into the 21, looks kind of like a double top here, retest of a neckline here, and all of this was setting up for kind of another entry a little bit higher though. So it, put in some lows a little bit below 6, started to hold the price around 7 here, and was still giving you some opportunities to get in. The low over here was actually 6.98, so you still could have been getting in at the $7 price. Probably would have been filled here with a buy, but anywhere in here, buying at 7 as it's starting to roll over, even though it's this far into the day, still would have been a setup, getting in at 7, stop at 6, and a target up to 10. And from there, it actually went even higher. This is obviously the 30-50 put that we talked about yesterday. Now, if we take a look at the 3100 put, actually, I'm going to zoom in on just today. So this was actually kind of slow to get moving. Here's the same, this price is where we retested up here. You could have been getting in bearish up here, with the triple top telling you we're just going to reverse. Now, if you had tried to get in earlier, you would have been stopped out because you probably would have been getting in like maybe 11 by 10 or 11 by 10 over here. That would have worked actually to get in 11 and get out at 14 for a very quick move. Then over here, it pulled back further. It looked like it was rallying, and then put in actually a couple smaller candles in here, less than $1 range, and then this one was the high was 9 and the low is 820. So um, just trading this one candle would have been a little bit difficult to do, waiting for the candle to close and getting in the next candle. It already made a high, it already got moving up to like 10, and then this only pulled back to 940 here. So getting in 10 by 9, you would have been risking all the way down to 8 or 820 or so. Really would have been like a $2 risk there. But a little bit later, we just had kind of some sideways action, some smaller candles. This is while it's going sideways, holding below the 5 here, and just some just a really nice consolidation here, looking to buy at some low. So there were a couple opportunities to buy in here and then have a much higher target, more than just 3 Rs. But there were still opportunities with the 3100 put that then got very far into, well, not very far, but got into the money late in the day. Almost got into the money here, and then pulled back. Um, Get some small candles going on later, but just to show you like how things were moving with the different options, the 3050 would have been more comfortable with $100 risk, buying at some of these levels that were going sideways here. But if you were tracking it with an option that's a little bit closer, like the 3100, you could see things moving much more significantly. The other thing I wanted to point out on the 3200 call, we retested back into this low with this retest here. So we really got right up into that price, not quite up into this retest later in the from later in the day on Tuesday. But this was the retest that looked like we were coming back up to that price on the call, and then that rolled over, and it did not have as significant of a rollover with 3050 put, or a bounce, I should say, on the 3050 put. And then it was this one later that didn't come up to that same price, didn't get anywhere near the triple top. And so, this is also just, helpful to identify that you're going to lose that premium even on a call as it's rallying, even if though it's rallying, maybe better than an earlier price, you just have that time decay from here to here. And it shows up in the price, that it's a lower price from here to here. And so this was really the level. It was even holding below some of the earlier prices, just running back up into like this price, this larger candle here. So we were all the way down, kind of at or below kind of the price of what the option was down here from Tuesday. I don't know if that all makes sense, but um, really, when you're seeing something rally on the call, it may not be the right time to, well, when it reverses or shows you an upper wick, it may not be the time to jump right into the put. You may need to still compare, okay, what price am I at? Where am I at in relation to like the 21 exponential moving average? What am I doing with these moves? Who's trapped? What's the bigger picture? And so the bigger picture here was, this wasn't much of a rally on the put. It wasn't until we got down here that we got a little rally, and then still went sideways for so long that it actually gave you really nice, comfortable time to get in. You didn't miss the trade. That's the best thing about options, is if you're a little further out, you didn't miss the trade. And so getting in bearish in here, even though you didn't buy at the high, which you're never going to buy the exact high, or maybe occasionally you might get the exact high, but very rarely. But you're already down here, and you're really sitting on what support is it? You're sitting on a little bit of support here. All this has to do is break, and we've got a line down here that we drew in. Now, I had these days kind of flipped. Like, I thought we were going to hit this line and then rally up to this line and then come back down. And instead, we rallied through this line, came a little bit higher than the price I thought. I thought we'd come into the 3173 price Wednesday, today. Instead, we did that and a little bit more than that Tuesday, but we did come back down into this line, and that was somewhat what I was thinking. Once we're up at this price, we're going to come back down, and that was similar to what we had done last week. This is moving way too slow. There. So this move back down happened really quickly. I drew it really quickly, like on the same day, like right like this, and so we came down just like that, but it's taken us, a day and a half to do it, and we're really not all the way back down to this line yet. So we'll see if anything holds with this kind of range. I don't really expect it to, but it's just interesting to see the price level in here that we got above this, but we came right back down to this line that all I had done was move this one or copy this one over and line it up at the low. And here we are right back into that price. So really would have made a great target. If you already know things are bearish, things look like they're rolling over, and it's rolling over from here, you got some selling, it goes sideways, you got another opportunity to get in, well, you can set your 3-hour target, great. But there's still a chance that we could just continue to roll over. And so I think getting out at 3 hours would have been the best move here, getting out at 8, and then looking to reload and see, okay, can I risk an R and get in a little bit later? Can I get in after, again, some consolidation, something like this? And that's where, getting in at like 7 and then holding more than 10, getting out at, what this line would be if it does really have a good rollover later in the day. That would have been a way to hold into a larger move where there's a line, we've drawn in a line a little bit lower. It doesn't mean that it's going to hit it. It just means that it's an area that I'm going to look for. Maybe I'll hold a little bit longer as long as I can tighten up my stop and really lose, break even or, lose, an R or something, or not, I'm sorry, not lose, still, get out of the position with a small win if I can move my stop as I'm holding up to that further target, especially once it gets through 3 hours. So once it gets through the $10 price, my stop should be right up here at easily at 8, and then after this this move back down here, this lower wick, get my stop right up at 9, and then see if I can hold to wherever this line would be, which this would probably have been around 12, actually maybe even 11, just the way this candle is. Probably would have been 11, and it may have been filling right there, maybe 1150. It would have been filling right, right on this candle, or obviously on this candle. So it would have been a better way to, or another way to hold with, a target a little bit further away than 3 hours on that kind of a move. So, yeah, I guess we'll have to see. Are we going to have, continue move lower? I think we had, let's see, was it a shape on? No. About $2 off the low into the close. And so, it's very similar to what we did last week. We had a bullish candle, upper wick, and then we gapped down and sold off and had a very similar close here where we were about $2 off the close from the low. And then for today, we actually gapped up and then sold off. The range on today was about 75 points, and the range on this day was 91. So we, just by the range of it, we could have a little bit further to go down. And we still have that squeeze forming. We have the momentum going positive. It just seems like there's some more bearishness coming in, but we'll have to wait and see, because these 2 days have worked out opposite of what I thought they would. I thought we'd go down and then up, then back down. And, right now, actually, let me pull this up real quick. So the bigger picture, so jumping back out to the hourly and looking at this. So the bigger picture, we're still retesting this triangle. Not necessarily this one, but if you were to draw this a little bit differently, and I've played around with some of my drawings, I haven't updated them on here. But if I modify these a little bit, so I'm still getting the lows here, trying to get the low here. That's a retest, that's a retest, that's a retest. This angle lines up And then if I extend it, I mean, it doesn't necessarily line up as well and get a high here, but I don't know that helps anything. It's just another, slightly shallower angle for the triangle. And it lines up with some of these prices a little bit better. Um, and I guess it's like, okay, here's a good place for it to retest and then roll over. So if this is now, this was the first retest, second retest, third retest, this could definitely go lower. This has been trapping people thinking it's going bullish. It's the bearishness is over. The other thing I noticed looking at this chart this way is we retested really close to this low. So low over here is 31.86, and the high that we made yesterday was 31.82. So we're $4 away from that price. So we have still kind of a resistance zone here, a very small one, but we didn't do much trading through that. So we traded through it on this day. We traded up through it here and then got into this high wave candle that had a low of 31.87.76. We gapped down from that. And then this candle was in the 31.70s. So, if I just hold the cursor right there, you can see we've only traded through that price maybe a couple of days, like once through here and then once with this candle, and that was it. So if we could get above this price, I think we could move quite a bit further. I think we get back up to 32.50 if we can get through this price. Right now, this is pretty far away. It's about 100 points away. So that'd be a significant rally, but that would be if we could bounce off of this, if this becomes some sort of a channel here, bounce off that and rally up, get back up to 32.50, and then maybe, I don't know, or we're already rolling over and say goodbye because it's just going to go down. So if more bearishness comes into the market, then that's entirely possible that we'll have a larger move down. But yeah, that's just something, a couple things I saw on the hourly that kind of frame it up a little bit better, that this could be, just obviously a little bit of a stair step here that didn't continue. And when they don't continue, it's usually some sort of reversal. It reversed, it retested. Let me zoom in here. So stair step here, should have continued higher, didn't, reversed, retested, and this was the most it retested with this rally. And then it, ran lower here, high wave candle, and it's breaking down. And so we're already taking out some of these lows through here. If we start to take out like some larger candles and larger volume from this day, if we take out this one, if we get down below 3,000, I mean, we're back down into this range. I don't expect us to get back to this line, but it'd be really crazy if we did. How far away is that? That would be 2,500, next week if this completely collapses. Not out of the question. If it's going to do that, be ready with some puts, know how to protect your positions. If you've been buying through here, make sure you have a stop in place to get out and look to buy lower, but wait to buy lower. And definitely check out the link in the description because there's a lot of great education out there, way more than just this in these videos on Amazon and how it moves, but how to do a lot more with trading and protecting yourself and knowing what you're risking. So hope this helps. This is Justin Amazon. Thanks.